Welcome to Property Chat with Lucy, where real estate meets a real talk. I'm your host, Lucy, and I want to take you through a journey of the basics of real estate, unfair, at times traumatizing stories in real estate. You're gonna meet industry experts here, and also I'm gonna share with you market trends on real estate, so you don't wanna miss out on this. So look forward to an amazing time with me as I get you into my world of real estate. Every episode, I intend to educate you, inform, and inspire you. So stay tuned to this. Hello, my happy people. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Property Chat with Lucy, where real estate meets a real talk. Today's episode is so exciting because I want to take you with me into my world of real estate, and I brought a good friend of mine. Let me just say, my accountability partner in real estate, and that's none other than Christabel Ojuok. I know you've seen her here, but I'll let her introduce herself for the sake of the new people who are first timers in this platform. Christabel, karibu sana.
Thank you, Lucy. My name is Christabel. I'm a registered estate agent, and I'm happy to be here.
You're happy to be here.
Yes.
What was the first thought when I called you and I told you, let's just share our journeys in this market? Because people think we just woke up and we became these realtors in Nairobi, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's been a long journey.
Yeah.
So I think many things crossed my mind in terms of where do we even start? You know, 'cause it's been many years. For me specifically, this should be my 13th year, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, because I started when I was very young. First year in uni, got a job, started from there.
Hold that thought.
Yeah. So
please.
we'll get to obviously talk more about that.
Yes.
But yes, exciting.
Good.
Yeah.
I've just given you a snippet of what we're going to talk about. So I have met quite a number of you. And let me just say, on social media, in person, and you asked me, what does it take to be you? All right? And I'll tell you, it's not a bed of red roses. It's been a journey. And I wanted us to get into our personal journeys into this market or becoming these realtors. What has worked for us? Our story might inspire you to avoid some of the pitfalls you've gone through, or probably just inspire you to become a better realtor. So on that note, I had actually, we came up with some questions that we're going to take turns just answering our part of that story as we go through it. And I'm going to just start with the basics, all right? So the first question is mostly can you remember the first experience you had and it kicked in your mind, this is the industry for you?
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I would. Let me take it back. You know, when I was growing up, I used to admire the late Prof. Saitoti. And I used to tell my parents, I want to become this man when I grow up. Where that dream changed is from the family dynamics. And I think I've shared this on my YouTube as well. I had a relative who was in real estate, but not a realtor. But then it's just the lifestyle thing. And I used to, having grown up in Mashinani and seeing this kind of lifestyle, for me, it tickled a bit of, there's something about just real estate, you know? And I made it a mission to have a sit down with him, to tell me what he does and what opportunity in that particular time. I think it was back in 2008. And it was more of in high school, what subjects do I go through so I can get myself in this property market? I'm a numbers person in nature. And I knew after now the conversation with him, we spoke about quantity surveying, we spoke about land economics, we spoke about land survey, and I had those options. And now I went in high school knowing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I knew we had an engineer in the house. And what a better way just to follow through like that engineering path. So that kind of tickled that was my first experience to know like this whole lecturer thing. And just to go back to the lecturer thing, my dad always kept on telling me, they're not people. We don't have work in the market. Like unemployment was a thing back in the day, and my dad believed in you really can't lose on an employment opportunity if you're a teacher.
Okay.
So I developed that from, I didn't want to be a I wanted to be lecturer, a professor. Anyway, yeah, so that was my first experience actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I've actually, we've been friends for long, but I didn't have that context. And I mean, frankly speaking, you've already done your master's, so you're only one step to becoming a professor.
I know, right?
Professor Lucy.
In fact, just to say,
Yeah.
there are those moments you sit down, you reflect on your childhood, and then you look at yourself where you are now, and the younger self. And I actually told myself, because I got this phone call from, may God rest his it's a tough one. I had a very close lecturer of mine. He was a mentor, and I remember 2 years ago, he called me and told me, Lucy, I want you back in ADD. I want you to come and teach.
And for those who are listening and they don't know what ADD or...
Oh, sorry. ADD, we have, now those are some of the things you get to. ADD is a building where the architectural landed professionals school at the University of Nairobi. What's the name of that road? Mamlaka Road.
Yeah, Faculty of Architecture,
Yes.
Design and Development.
Yes. I just picked from the layman's language used to say ADD. First of all, it's a building, but then also thank you for that. But so I remember him calling me, and I still figured out there is a way I will still teach. It might not be in the university, but then, yes, Future is Mentor Hub. I'm doing a lot of teaching on that platform. So I'm literally doing a calling that I had. And I probably now, lately I just discovered I have that gift to teach.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. For me, it's, so from the very early context that I have, is that my parents had real estate, like were involved in real estate. Small scale, but so once or twice, I do recall accompanying my mom to site.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's so interesting. But then, so of course, that was that. It was just, actually, it was one of those scenarios of like, okay, gosh, why do I have to go to site? I'd rather be at home playing with friends or whatever.
Yeah.
Then, of course, you go through primary school, then you go to high school. So by the time I was clearing my my fourth year, and then, of course, you do your KCSE. So you're trying to sort of figure out. So prior to that, if you recall, during our system, I don't know if it still happens right now, there are forms where you need to fill in terms of the degree that you want to do in campus.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, those forms.
Yeah, I remember.
Honestly, I can't even recall what I filled. But I think my recollection, either in high school or primary school days, was, I guess I wanted to be a pilot, maybe.
Oh, wow.
I think so, yeah. But then, so now, by the time I was done with high school, for some reason, it was very clear. I kept on saying that I want to be the person who tells people, like, the value of their homes.
Ah.
Yeah, and I didn't even know what that meant. Then at the same time, I bumped into a gentleman who was doing land economics at ADD. So, of course, like I could see he was, running some numbers. I want to believe it was a valuation module. So we just got to, we had a chat. And then after that, I went and had a conversation with my mom. And she was like, yeah, go check and see, what that course is all about.
Yeah.
So that was the first time I actually stepped foot in ADD, just to inquire about the course, etc. And then, of course, the education journey started there. But yeah, that's my recollection. So it was just, I want to tell people the value of, so essentially I'd become a valuer, which I don't even practice. I tried it once and I was like, oh, hell no, this is not for me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, which takes me now to, you've discovered your first, this is it for me. And it tickled. What, I know now I'm jumping into like how you got into the whole space of, you've done your degree, gotten out here, and then you realized theory is different from experience. So what motivates you in terms of committing to your real estate journey?
Okay. So let me put some context to it. So by the time I started, so first of all, I had to start with a diploma.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which was 1 year. And the reason for that is because when I went to apply, because I was applying as, what are they called? They're the...
Parallel.
Yes, I was applying as a parallel student. So that means self-sponsored,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So when I was doing my application, one of the electives or subjects that I needed to have done in high school was geography. And that was just, I didn't like geography, I didn't like history, so I just took all sciences. So for that particular reason, I was told that I have to start with a diploma. Yes, imagine, just because of one subject. Honestly, there was absolutely no correlation between geography and what we studied in class.
Yeah.
I'm assuming...
I didn't do geography as well.
Yeah, so for me, that's what they said. But I'm assuming at the time, because also the diploma course was relatively new, so I believe they were also looking for, students to...
And location in real estate and geography, those are two things that correlate directly.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
you could say
the
that,
problem,
but still...
yeah.
Yeah, so for that reason, I had to do the diploma, which was about 1 year, 9 months, 1 year. And then now the following year is when I started my first year. So,
which year was this? Because...
So I did the diploma in 2019, because the year is from September to June, the calendar year. So September to June. So by the time June 2020, 2000 can't even remember. Yeah, I think 2009 to 2010. And then now in December 2010, or rather September, October 2010 is when I started my bachelor's degree. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Oh gosh.
Fun facts, guys. We're in the same uni. We never crossed our paths.
Ever.
Like at all.
Yeah.
We came to meet in the industry and we became like best friends. Yeah. Anyway, just how was your perception with the degree content and what you're seeing in the market at the moment?
Yes, so I was telling you, when I started my bachelor's degree in 2009, 2010, so at the same time I got an opportunity to work where, yeah.
We'll not mention names today. Sorry
but yeah,
for that.
Context, I mean a very reputable firm, multinational. So that's where I started. So for me, it was more of, yes, I'm going to school, and I'm studying, but then I'm also in the fields and I'm practicing. So yes, I started it was a very junior position, but then and I was in a shopping center. So yeah, I'm learning all these things. I'm learning about leases, how to sign up a tenant, how to do documentation, snagging. Because at that point in time, the second phase of the shopping center that I was stationed in was just opening up. So there was a lot of, it was very fast-paced. So I had the practical. I was learning from the practical side, as well as, of course, when you go to class and you're, learning now the theory side of it.
Yeah.
So just merging those two. So my experience it's very different from a typical somebody who goes to uni, you study, and then now you go to the field.
Fun fact, let me just explain something that we have in common. I intentionally got myself out to work when I was still in uni. And what that does is it opens up the theory you're getting in class to the practical element of experience out here. And it really helped me because I remember my first assignment, I just volunteered. Even the guys were just feeling so, they were paying me peanuts to a point where they're like, okay, fine, we're going to give you a better salary. I started, my first salary was 10,000. And I'm always very proud talking about it because it made me think of put experience first. Because as we are also going to go through this, there is a point in real estate where you get to know there's no more growth. Get out here, grow yourself. You know. Now, with that 10,000, it was taken to 35 for a period of 8 months.
Okay.
And then I applied the job. This is...
In the same company or a different?
No, a different company.
Okay.
And that's now what I'm talking about. The experience, be it when you're learning, it has really been very instrumental. And when I look at Christabel's story and my story, they tend to intertwine in the element that anytime we used to close, I used to get myself out to work. Okay. And I ended up knowing management issues, valuation matters, market and feasibility at a very young stage in the profession. And in my second year of work, I was earning over 80,000 Kenyan shillings. And it's because of the experience that I had and what, it gives you a lot of confidence working out here. And that's a good one. Let's talk about challenges. What has been the biggest challenge you faced since entering the real estate market? And how did you overcome it? Let me just start with this. I think I've learned from experience the importance of working with reliable agents.
Okay.
That's one. And I'm talking from the space where I've been out, because when you're working for a company, you're kind of cushioned and protected. So you don't really experience the external factors of doing real estate in the real estate market. But now out here, I realized you need to work with reliable agents. And when I mean reliable agents, we're in a market where quite a number of us don't understand the code of conduct, one. And we've gone to school, we understand what the profession requires of us in terms of integrity, in terms of commissions to charge, communication, professionalism rather. And with that now brought in the element of, I do ask people, are you registered? Because I need to know my line, my boundary. Because there are things, if you're dealing with someone who is not registered, they will just tell you how they do things and you'll just know there's no need of dealing with this because this is how it will go down. So I've managed to get myself in a space where the agents I work with, are they working with, or probably other agents who have worked with them, just to go out and do my due diligence on how they've done business with them. That's now the second line of my due diligence. If I realize you're not registered or you're not even bothered, you're not working towards it.
Yeah.
And who is your mentor? Like, who have you worked with before?
Yeah.
That's something that has really helped me in terms of, but it's a huge challenge because real estate is a social business. You have a listing, you want to network, you want to work with other people, but then also the pool, it's like rice. You have to sort it out. I always look at the market as that. I have to pick up who I can work with and have a representative agent that I can liaise with if I have a listing or something in that location.
Yeah.
So that has really been a huge challenge for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. On my end, so when I was employed, I was primarily in property management, commercial property management. And anyone who's participated or played the role of a property manager knows how it can be extremely challenging, simply because you are dealing with various customers. Now, for us, for example, it was a majority of the tenants were, small businesses, and then of course you'd have a few which are established businesses and brands.
Yeah.
So you need to sort of develop that muscle and learn how to navigate ways in which you communicate or ways in which you're solving problems. Because property management is pretty much problem solving. So you're problem solving on one end for the landlord, and then on the other end, you're problem solving for the tenants, right? Because, I mean, it has to be a symbiotic relationship. Both parties have to thrive. So, yeah, that was very challenging, especially when it comes to your number one KPI, which is rent collection. So that, I mean, is above 50% of your KPI. So rent collection is not the easiest thing to do, simply because obviously businesses rely on cash flow. So there has to be customers and then cash flow, and then you're able to meet the expenses, etc. So at the time, you'd have instances whereby you'd, follow due procedure and distress for rent. And I mean, that's a professional terminology, but essentially what that means is you're deriving ways in which you can recover the monies that are owed. So it's not an entirely easy process, as much as you're going to involve, auctioneers to aid in that process.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, we're human beings. No one starts a business to, shut it down or even get to that position whereby they're being distressed. So that wasn't, it's not the easiest of things to do, especially when you're young, and you're just sort of like learning the ropes. So I'd say, scenarios whereby I had to, distress for rent. Those ones were very, very like challenging and draining.
Yeah.
And all sorts of things happen.
I've gone through it. I remember I auctioned someone, and this was a very like significant person in the society. I sent my auctioneer, and he was threatened with a gun.
You were threatened?
No, my
the auctioneer.
Yes,
I see. Okay.
And you see, now those are some of the things the landlord would not. He may want the tenant out, but then here there is a threat where we can't push through. We need to involve security.
Yes.
So it's. I mean, real estate. It's not as rosy as it looks.
Yeah.
When you get paid, you really get paid for really hard work. Now, what was the turning point when you figured out, let me just get out, get into rent score and 8 to 5? Yeah.
Okay. So I've just realized at the beginning of the podcast, I mean, I just said who I am.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm also a co-founder at Rensco, which is a PropTech company. Our goal is to, empower as many Africans as possible to invest in real estate affordably. So yes, that's Rensco in a nutshell. So Rensco, let's see. So first of all, there are various ways of thriving in real estate as a career. So, but then it just depends on how far you're willing to go and how far you're keen on pushing yourself. So, obviously, if you are employed, especially within the real estate context, so yes, you get your licenses, you become a full member of ISK. But then even with that, if you're working locally, it almost feels as though there's a ceiling. Simply because opportunities are very limited. So then, yes, you can choose to progress further and pursue your RICS so that you're able to sort of render your services or provide your services from within the international markets. Yes, so as a career, so that is also an option. However, for me, as much as, yes, we are about to start our RICS, I hope you're doing it.
Yeah.
Yes. So it just got to a point where I was exploring ideas. And I was saying, I was like, okay, fine. So I have all this experience, and my last job, so to speak, I had a huge role. I had a very big role. I was a general manager, and I was overseeing a large portfolio of assets. So I was like, okay, if I'm able to, do this, obviously it was very stressful, but if I'm able to handle this, then perhaps it's about time that I explored also what is out there in the market and come up with innovative ways in which we can solve problems in the market. Yeah, so that was the birth of Rentco. Initially, it wasn't Rentco, it was many things. Then, of course, there was lots of iteration, and then eventually we landed on Rentco. And yeah, the sky is the limit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Let me just say, I think mine would be quite different. I fear when I got married and got kids, my greatest fear is a situation where my son will ask for something and I'm unable to provide for that. You know? And not that I wasn't well paid. I also like the whole element of spending time with them,
Okay.
which now took me to a whole thought of, should I leave? Should I get myself in a different space? And I think having that to me, like just because I remember immediately I knew I was going to be a mother. That's when that thought, I need to start something
Okay.
just small from the networks that I have,
Okay.
the family members that I have. Let me just start small, and it's the leap of faith that someone takes. So that was for me. That was like something really. I look at my kids and I'm just like, I can spend time with them. The small way I can provide for them, but just not lacking to provide for them.
Yeah, interestingly enough, because I recall at the point when you left, you didn't get employed elsewhere, and like, because you almost left at the same time. Almost.
Yeah.
So I got a job opportunity in a tech company. Then was there for a year, and then thereafter I transitioned to now my last employment gig, which was now for 2 years. So yeah, so you jumped in way much earlier than I
Yeah.
did.
And you see, when you're talking about being self-reliant, it's when I was very intentional on building my brand,
Okay.
you know, in terms of making sure I love numbers. And numbers is not, that's the foundation of selling. If you tell someone, this is what you're going to get if you put X amount. And I realized, if that's like one of the things that drives me, why don't I just look into the business element of it? Yeah. Which takes me now to comparative insights. If you look at yourself then and now, how do you do business differently?
So obviously there's been lots of growth. And you know, sometimes you tend to, like, let's say for example, right now I'm in a position whereby I don't jump at every opportunity because I'm able to discern and I'm able to see, okay, is this worth pursuing in terms of, is this like a serious client? Is there an opportunity here? Am I able to serve the client and solve their problems? As opposed to, you know, back in the day whereby somebody wants this and somebody wants that, and you're like, okay, I can do this and I can do that and I can do, you know, so many other things. So right now I'm more settled, and it's very clear to me in terms of how you even just sort of assess or vet a client. Because as much as, yes, it's an opportunity in itself, you can end up really wasting a lot of time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which now takes me to mine, the spirit of discernment. And that is on the element of screening your potential clients. You know, there are people who come with other intentions, not just necessarily to buy real estate. But then also from the other side, I've understood you really can't sell a listing without understanding the uniqueness of that property. So I always go back to, I don't onboard every listing I get in this market. I need to see the selling preposition, which market we are in, so I don't overcommit myself. There's that excitement that as a young realtor, when you see a lot of listings coming your way, you just take them, not looking at how do you convert and meet your client's needs. And that comes from you understanding the market, understanding the product, so you're able to estimate, I'm going to take X amount of days or I'm going to take X amount of months. And that, to me, I think it's something that I'm very intentional now. It's not just about, some I could just politely just refer you to someone. If you call me and yes, you've seen me on social media, I talk about real estate, and then you're like, I have a property in Mombasa. I'm not in Mombasa. You know, and it's good to just accept your situation. I'm in Nairobi, as much as I want that money. But then now looking back is, how is your network looking like in these locations? People that you can do business with in a reliable, professional way, and at the end of the day, you end up being a better person in the game.
Would you like to embrace tech? It can filter some of that.
It's
Because
actually
now-
something that I've incorporated, and let me, work in progress. I have seen the benefits and the efficiency of tech,
Okay.
especially in real estate. Yeah.
Sure.
Learning moments. So what's the most valuable lesson you've learned in this industry? Something that you wish you knew when you started off. Not at the beginning, because I think even in our business journey, we've learned quite a lot. You know, I always say no one prepared me for this entrepreneurship journey. But then what lesson have you learned in your course of?
So is that from like a professional
Yes.
point of view, or just from being an entrepreneur in general?
No, in real estate, more specific in real estate.
In real estate.
Yeah.
I believe if somebody is not honest from the onset, regardless of how far along you progress in a transaction, you're just going to have problems. Yeah, and this is, it goes both ways for both, let's say, for example, because a client can be a developer, or somebody whom you're selling property on their behalf, and also somebody who's looking to purchase. So if they're not honest from the onset, first of all, it's going to be an extremely lengthy transaction, and more often than not, it doesn't go well. And unfortunately, sometimes there's no sort of like a specific way in which you can know whether somebody is lying or not. However, again, with time, when you're just having discussions, there has to be like some form of consistency in terms of what it is that they're saying. So yeah, it just goes back to what I said earlier in terms of like discernment. So yeah, that's one of the key things.
Let me just say also, I've learned to look beyond the transaction. And that's how I've maintained my clientele, where you want to have a follow-up kind of conversation to nurture, to help whatever you can. Past is just not, I'm paid my commission and that marks the end of it.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know?
Yeah.
So you want to keep that communication, build credibility and trust, because you want to remain in business for more than just that one transaction. So that's one of the things I've learned. And probably I could add one more. For you to remain like in line of your vision for your business, you need an accountability partner, right? Someone you're walking the same journey with, someone who would actually, like, you have goals to cross-check. And fun fact, Christabel is my accountability partner. We sit down, share our goals, look at what steps do we need to take to get ourselves to the next level. And we're in different lines. We're not competing. And this takes me to just telling you, in this market, there's so many people, but no one will ever do what you do the way you do it.
Exactly.
All right? So don't compare yourself with anyone. There's so much noise. Stick to your line. Get an accountable partner who is genuinely happy for your growth. There are people here who probably they will not share with you because they don't want you to get far from where you are. So pray to God to give you the spirit of discernment to get yourself a professional partner that you can walk the path of, building yourself in the market. Now, team dynamics, I've just actually brought that. What do you think? How has our friendship helped you grow?
So, for me, what I'd say is I've had a couple of moments where especially if I vividly recall during our masters,
Yeah.
because we did the master's degree together, it was extremely challenging. I mean, anyone who's combined education and a full-time demanding job,
Yeah.
it can, I mean, yeah. So there were moments there where I was like, I don't
I
think I'm
know.
going to go through
And
this.
those
Like, I don't think I'm going to finish. Like, it's okay. It's fine. Even tell yourself, like, so and so dropped off from Harvard, as much as it's Harvard,
yeah.
Like, there were those
You almost
moments.
dropped out.
Yeah, there were those moments where I was like, am I really going to see this through? So, I mean, I'm glad I did, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, vividly, that's what I remember. And obviously, it's been very instrumental in terms of getting to where I am today. Simply because, first of all, it's a course that I mean, if you look at the basis of what we do right now, it's finance.
From there.
Right? It's from there, and you're able to structure deals. You're able to, like, that practical knowledge that you now have. So you combine the theory and the practical side of it, which has also been very instrumental in, setting up Rentsco, because the backbone of it is also the finance, and we're also able to now just derive various innovative solutions as far as financing real estate is concerned. So, I mean, I'm glad. Thank you for that.
Looking at it, I'm also looking at my challenge from a different dynamic. I remember I got into the masters, got pregnant, I almost dropped. And I remember you telling me, no, you can do this. Got my baby, traveled with a 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And this girl was just there supporting me. And we ended up, I got a distinction. We got really good grades for that. So that takes me to friendships are very important. Good. Let's look into the fun memories we've shared. We've met in our career paths. We ended up becoming more than just realtor friends. We became more like personal friends. But what are some of the fun memories we've created in our line of work?
Fun.
You can't think about this.
No, I'm just trying to remember. I mean, there's been so many.
I know, but I have an highlight.
Okay, yeah, fine. Yeah.
I think we had traveled to Kisumu.
Okay.
That's one. We traveled to Kisumu for an ISK thing and all that. I think when I look back into sometimes, even after getting out of our former employer, I would still do it again and again and again.
What would you do?
Just go again for those professional workshops.
Okay, I see, okay.
Because it's a moment where you bond and you connect, and also you realize that you share same core values. Those are out of work, but still in work setup. You realize that you share more than just the professional bit. Yeah, and just our normal coffee dates and all that that are very planned. Christabel, you have to plan.
Oh, gosh.
I don't plan. She plans, and I'm a very random person. You really can't call Christabel on a random thing. And ideally, I think also through my randomness, I find fun. We create fun memories because you have, okay, this day, yeah. So for me, that really.
Okay. I'd say, I think what comes top of mind is it's a good one. It's a good one.
Just looking at you.
No, it's a good one. Yeah. So I believe when you did your second masterclass. Yeah. That was sort of like a 360 full moment in terms of, because I recall you had talked about the masterclass and you had all these plans, and unfortunately I wasn't able I wasn't present for the first one, but I came and participated in the second one. So just seeing months and months of planning and all that coming to fruition, yes, and obviously thereafter we got to celebrate, so that was quite something, I have to say.
Get yourself good friends like me, please. who are there to cheer you up, help you plan. I remember every time I slot an idea to Christabel, she actually sits down to look at the idea concept. Are you executing it? Do you have funds for this? Who is doing this? Literally, you're like a goal setting person. For me, anytime I have something, I'll just dash to her and everything is just cleared out. Even this, we are here. I think, I remember in January, we sat down and talked about this, right?
Yeah.
And let me just say a big thank you for that.
You're
Good.
welcome.
Any advice for newcomers? People who look at Lucy, Christabel, and they think, I want that. Please, can you just throw the salt into that?
Well, I have to say, first of all, if there's one thing that I've learned, and I mean, it's a continuous lesson, is that anything good takes time. Like, I know right now we are in a generation where it's sort of like you want quick gains, quick
Yeah.
returns. Anything worth pursuing takes time. So just start. However it is, like whatever vision you have,
Just start. Yeah.
You'll refine it along the way. Don't be afraid to also fail. Like if you start, it doesn't work out, you fail, it's okay. I mean, just dust yourself, pick yourself up and, on to the next. Especially if you're young, there's lots of room for experimenting,
Yeah.
trying out something new, trying out, something different. And the beauty about it is there's no sort of like barrier to entry in real estate. Obviously, there's a right way of doing it. But yeah, just start, explore, give yourself grace. It takes time, it takes patience. And if you think long term and you sort of have milestones that you want to achieve and you peg them to timelines, then yeah, slowly by slowly you build your confidence and you're able to see yourself getting there. Yeah.
I would say mentorship is very crucial because that's one of the things that have made us become so confident in real estate at a very young stage in the profession. And for that, I have some good news. Probably it's a time just to share that. If you're out there, you're a realtor and you're looking to join a mentorship platform with reliable mentors in different aspects of real estate, please check out Future is Mentor Hub. We are mentors on that platform. And ideally, we are trying to nurture you. It's like a learning process. It's an ongoing concern. You just don't come and leave. It's a community. And there's no better way of just nurturing yourself in this market than having a community that you speak the same language, you have the same vision, and ideally, people who can hold your hand. Don't make the same mistakes we did. This is an opportunity for you to join a thriving community. So check on Future is Mentor Hub and make sure if you need to join us, just drop an email on info@futureisrealtors.co.ke and we'll definitely get in touch with you. Now, I want to just get into the future. How do you see the future of this market? Is it exciting? Is it like from where you sit?
I mean, real estate will always be exciting.
Yeah.
If anything, it's the largest asset for wealth creation. So I believe we are in the right space. The market will continue to grow and expand, especially just considering all these, all the plans that, so to speak, like from a macroeconomic point of view, be it in terms of projects to do with LabSet or whatever. There's obviously, because it's an ecosystem, infrastructure plays a key role as far as expanding into various towns and cities and counties is concerned. So I believe it will no longer be sort of like a Nairobi play per se, but then other counties, we're going to see lots of activities booming in other counties as well. I'm excited about the concept of master plan developments as well. So far in Nairobi or within Nairobi and its environs, we have, actually that would be Kiambu County, we have now Tilisi, we have Tatu City, So it's also, I'm excited to see how that turns out. So yes, there's lots of development that have taken place, but then just to see it full circle, like it's mature. What does that look like? The whole vision of live, work, and play within the same setup.
Space, yeah.
Yes. So I mean, it's exciting to watch.
Yeah.
Yes, then obviously the way certain neighborhoods are now, I'm sure within a 10-year sort of horizon.
Give it 5 to 6.
Yeah, even
Am
5
I?
to 6, frankly
Yeah.
speaking. Like, there's going to be lots and lots of changes. Yeah, I want to, we're paying close attention to see how the rental space also, how that changes. Primarily within the suburbs of Nairobi.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to see if an increase in terms of supply of properties, if that's going to sort of have any impact in terms of rental prices. Are they going to remain the same? Are they going to, move up, continue moving up? Or are they going to sort of come down? Yeah, so...
No, it's quite exciting when you look at even the reports we're seeing in the market by these multinational real estate companies. Projections of rentals, especially like in the space where I'm in, retail developments, we're talking about 600. That was projected. It was a report that was released last week. And I was just asking myself, how achievable is that?
When they say 600...
600 square feet per, 600 shillings per square feet.
What?
Yeah. I just went in to do my own research. And frankly, as much as I haven't seen a 600 shillings per square feet, we're talking in the range of 450.
And that's prime.
That's very prime.
retail.
And that's like, good music to the investors. When I look at also like in terms of the appetite of retail space, there's quite a lot happening by driven by the middle-sized businesses that are coming up. And these are guys who are not asking about the rentals. They're not asking about the escalations. You'll only find tough negotiations with very established I'd call them brands in the market, which now takes me to exciting times for landlords who are looking into providing spaces for the second middle tier kind of retailers, right? And as you've said, I think there's a lot of business for us that we need to stick around and just get more money to our pockets. Okay. Now, on a final thought, what would be that one thing that you would tell our listeners to take away from your journey and also from my journey?
Okay. So if you're listening as and you're practicing, you're within the real estate space. Number one, it takes time. As with anything, being at the top of your game takes time. So again, give yourself grace. Secondly, if you can find like a network of reliable parties to work with, just across board, even from agents to valuers to land surveyors to property managers, just sort of have like your own mini ecosystem. If that's very important, because then you're also able to, occasionally you may meet a client and maybe you're not really, you need to bounce off an idea or you need to check in with somebody who's reliable. So if you can sort of find a way to form a community, then that'll be helpful. If you're listening and you are, keen on venturing into real estate, like from an investment point of view, or even just say, for example, buying your first home, I'd highly recommend you visit our platform, rentscore.africa. We have powerful tools in there. Use the affordability calculator, see what it is that you can afford, what those repayments look like. And then, get started. Reach out to us and we'll guide you through in terms of getting started.
Nice. I would say, as a realtor, you're in this market, you need to have a mentor. And number two, make sure that you also find yourself a good ecosystem in terms of reliable professionals. You can collaborate and network with them. And in the light of an investor, make sure also you do your due diligence on the realtors that you work with. They need to be knowledgeable and they need to show expertise and competence in what you're hiring them to do. Right?
Sorry, just one last bit. So even as we you've talked about some like clients doing due diligence on the realtors that they work with. How can they practically? How can a customer who's thinking about buying real estate and they've just had a first interaction with a realtor, how can they actually conduct their due diligence as far as the realtor is concerned?
One, I would say in terms of registration, because it's in the public domain, we all have our registration numbers.
Okay.
So if you're registered, it means you're competent. You went through that training, the interview, and you got your license to conduct any real estate business. So failure to find that person, that's a red flag to me.
How will they know? How will they?
I've had, let me just give you an example. I've had a client call and they just requested for my name. And they just called someone and they got my number. Right? So that's one way. I mean, we are published in the Kenyan Gazette. That's
yes.
public
So
domain.
there's the Kenyan Gazette.
Yes.
And then thankfully, even Estate Agents Registration Board now has a platform.
Yes.
So you can just key in somebody's name and check. And if that's not functional, you can always ask them also for their just certificate.
Do you think also LinkedIn is a good way to check out if someone?
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, yes.
Just to know the companies this person has worked, reach out to them because they will definitely give like an authentic profile of how they conducted themselves during their tenure of employment with them.
I completely 100% agree.
Let me ask you, what's next for you? Like any big plans for you want to share with us?
Wow. So yes, big
that I'm not
audacious-
aware of.
So let me just say, a big, hairy, audacious goal, obviously, is to grow rent score and take it to an international level. So we're looking at the continent, just obviously expanding across various countries and regions in Africa. And then, just being able to solve many problems, multifaceted problems, and for like I said, first-time home buyers, clients who are looking to grow their portfolio, landlords. So we are keen on, we're building sort of like a real estate engine, so to speak. Yeah. So watch out. Yes.
Let me just say I'm very big on educating. So stick around on this podcast, and also you're out looking for a mentor. Join Future's Mentor Hub. I'm looking forward to growing a big community where we can all have to speak one voice and help each other positively to grow ourselves in the real estate market. Thank you so much. I think you've taken one or two takeaways from our journeys. And if you have any question or you need any help, please feel free to reach out to us. And Christabel has given the contact where you can reach out on Rensco. We are going to pin that as well. And feel free to just share your sentiments on anything you probably want to get clarity on what you've talked about or how you could get started. Future's Mentor Hub is there. Christabel is one of us. I am also the founder, and I look forward to having a good time with you. I will see you in my next episode, and it was nice talking to you guys, and thank you so much for listening to us.
Let's see, one last thing before we close.
All right. Good.
So,
those moments are there
I
when you
know.
feel like you're done. Okay, tell me.
So I forgot to mention, we do conduct financial wellness workshops in companies. So like, let's say, for example, you're listening to this podcast and you're wondering, what does it mean to convert your rent into equity? Like, how practical is that? So yes, we can come to your company and just, take you through the practical steps if you're keen on getting started. So if you're listening in and that's something that you strongly believe that you'd be able to benefit from, or you and your colleagues, or if you're listening in as HR, then yes, you can also reach out to us and we'll be happy to organize one, and we'll come with goodies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We're all about good vibes, guys. So reach out to Christabel if that's something that you'd love to get some help on. And on that note, let me just say a goodbye.